Jazz age living, whole fashion sipping, pizzazz ain't missing, got the fat cats kissing. Let's bring the old age back. Wake up from his nap, we bring in the...
Let's watch Colin Cowherd on Draymond Green, Monty.
I love Draymond Green, as you know. Draymond Green, to me, has always been Dennis Rodman, but with skill. You fanboys out there, you love your Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony. They've never made a teammate better. John Wall's never made a teammate better. Westbrook has never made a teammate better. Draymond Green has made every teammate he's ever played with better. Last night, he hit 2 field goals. And there's an argument to be made, totally discombobulated the Celtics offense and Jaylen Brown. And
all right, what are your thoughts?
I agree with part of what he says on the Draymond part. Like, Draymond's the most, like, he's really important to the team. But when he started naming Russell Westbrook and John Wall, that was just straight up like disrespectful. Like, are you like
what
Russell?
But if you're John Wall right now, you're like, what did I do to you, dude?
Right?
I haven't played in 2 years.
Right? John Wall hasn't even seen the court in 2 years. He probably woke up and saw it on Twitter and was like, why is my name trending and going on this? But no, I mean, I'd argue Russell Westbrook and John Wall make their teammates better than Draymond Green. Like, they're in their prime of the career, they were getting double-digit assists, averaging double-digit assists. And John Wall's helped Marcin Gortat get a big contract. Steven Adams got a big contract.
Maga Porter Jr.
Yeah, Otto Porter's got a – so I think Colin Cowherd, he's just hating. I agree with what he says on Draymond and how important he is, but you can't try to downplay how good John Wall and Russell Westbrook were.
Charlie?
I didn't see most of the clip, but I'm assuming he was comparing Draymond to...
He said Draymond's made every single person he's played with better. Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, and John Wall have not. Which is like, who are these players from the 1999 season?
Yeah, John Wall. Been around.
I'm exaggerating, but come on, they haven't been playing. I mean, Russell Westbrook wasn't relevant last year, and he was like the punchline of every joke.
I agree with him in that Draymond does make his teammates better. I think that's pretty clear. But why is he dragging those guys into it? That doesn't make any sense.
All right, well, I would like to say I don't get this Draymond love fest that's happening. Why is it a talent to be annoying?
I don't think he's annoying. People say the NBA is soft, and now he's trying to he brings this toughness mentality to him, and now people are complaining. So what do you want? You want the NBA to be soft and people to complain left and right? Or do you want someone to come and be the enforcer and try to, if someone messes with your team, you're coming, squaring up with them straight up? So I like Draymond. He brings the energy defensively. He's their whole team. If he's not playing well defensively, the Warriors aren't playing well defensively. He runs – the offense goes to Steph, but he basically runs it and dishes and sets up a lot of things. So I used to not be a big fan of Draymond, and then after watching him for a while, I grew to appreciate him.
My whole thing with him is, okay, look, speaking of complaining, he complains. His whole thing, he's gamed the entire NBA. I'm watching last night. He gets his first technical. I'm like, well, now he can do whatever he wants. He can put his shoes directly on your face and to not get a technical because you know that the refs are not going to kick out Draymond Green. That's what I mean.
They kick him out all the time.
Yeah, you got kicked out.
They suspended him in a finals game.
Only when he kicks someone in the nuts or he has all of these technicals piled up.
The second round, he caught the flagrant and got ejected in the first half against the Grizzlies on something that should have been a flagrant. There's been much worse that people have gotten away. So he's gotten the leeway last night, but there's definitely been games where he's had the short leash and they just kicked him out or suspended him.
I agree with you. I like Draymond a lot. I think everything that Monty said I agree with, but I think that he's gotten to there's a line between being like the aggressor, the physical guy, and then just being petty. And I think he's really pushing that line right now. I think last night it was pretty petty. It was like
Like
There was
this.
nothing to.
Draymond Green.
If you're Draymond Green, you got to be careful. You already have a technical foul.
And if you're Jaylen Brown, you got to try to entice it.
Absolutely.
And in a normal course of a game, this would be a double team.
I think Brown took exception to Green's legs being on him as he fell.
Like, that's just dumb. Like, you already have a technical. Like, why risk it? Like, I could see if he didn't have a technical.
Because he knows he'll never,
No,
ever
he doesn't,
get
dude.
kicked
They
out of that
kick him
game.
out all the time.
They
for
don't
that
kick
type of
him out
shit.
all the time.
Yes, they do.
If Chris is watching, my buddy Chris Hall, we talk about this all the time. They don't kick him out all the time. He does this every single playoff game because he knows that most of the time they'll never call the second technical on him. So he's trying to get the first technical so then he can be the biggest asshole for the rest of the game.
I disagree.
He should have been kicked out on that play last night.
No,
I don't
That-
think he should have been kicked out, but I think it was stupid, and I think he was close. I don't think he should have risked it, but he does. He does. I don't know why you're arguing it. He does get ejected for stupid shit because he's an idiot. Like, he's a genius player, but he just does this stupid shit that he thinks is.
Yeah, well, another thing, like the genius player thing. It's like, I mean, this if Draymond Green was on my favorite team with the Orlando Magic, you would never hear about him ever.
That's
You'd
not
never ever hear about.
That's not
him.
true.
He'd played 14 years in this league, and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that guy." Oh,
Why
yeah,
do you
think
think
I
that?
remember him?
What do you think?
Because that bullshit doesn't work unless you have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in their prime. Klay, not anymore. We'll get to that point. Very well coached team as well. So all of this shit that he does that makes him a genius. Nobody runs around like Steph Curry.
You think Steph Curry had a factor in him winning Defensive Player of the Year? You think Steph Curry? You think Steph was the reason that he won?
Marcus Smart won Defensive Player
no,
of the Year.
Draymond's won, I think, 2 in his career.
Yeah. You would know about him if he was on another team. He wouldn't be as good because he doesn't have Steph, but you would know about him.
He wouldn't have won Defensive Player of the Year on another team.
Wow.
No way.
That's crazy.
You get the spotlight, by the way, of being on one of the best teams.
Because he's a winner and he's a good player.
You put him on Orlando, he's not a winner anymore.
He'd make Orlando a winner.
If he
Oh,
doesn't,
come on. Oh, come
No,
on.
If Chris Paul can go to the Suns and make them a winner, give me Draymond
Wow.
and he can make.
You
he can
just
make
related Draymond Green to Chris Paul. The
what is
point
Chris
guard.
Paul-
that's closer than what you're comparing him to.
Yeah, you're disrespecting Draymond like he's not like.
If he doesn't do stuff, then how come we don't have Kevon Looney? We don't have so many players like Draymond doing that. If it's so easy to do, then how come there aren't so many of them in the league?
There are a lot of them. You just don't know about them. That's my point.
No, I feel like you're just dismissing Draymond. Like, you think he's a scrub. Like, he's just like a role player.
I think he's a good player. He's not a genius. He's not some X factor. I think he's a good player that talks a lot of shit, so therefore gets a lot of attention. But if he didn't talk a lot of shit, you just be like, solid player.
I would say Draymond is a genius. He's an undersized big man who has to use his mind to combat all of the height disadvantages and the physical disadvantages he has. Defensively, I'd argue he's the smartest defensive player in the whole league. And offensively, you see, like when they run their sets and Steph is running left and right doing whatever, he doesn't get a lot of those passes if Draymond isn't on their team. And when Draymond was out, yeah, the Warriors were still playing well and Steph was getting his shots, but numbers were showing that Steph does a lot better when Draymond's there because Draymond can help take some of the pressure off and help facilitate the offense so Steph can roam around and come off screens and start chucking through there. So I feel like you're just dismissing how valuable Draymond is to the Warriors and just in general how good of a player he is.
You know why he talks all this smack is because he has 3 rings and he's won the Defensive Player of the Year. You don't talk shit unless you can back it up. He's got the accolades. He's obviously benefits from the players that he's had around him, but that those players benefit from him as much as he benefits from them. I mean,
I think he's a better podcaster than I do a basketball player, to be honest.
nah.
Jazz age living, old fashioned sipping, pizzazz ain't missing, got